Hello and welcome to Cooking with Steve. Today we're going to make a delicious cornbread. I've got some beef stew going in the pot over there, so the cornbread is going to pair really nicely with it. One of the things that I really don't care for cornbread in the sense that if it's too dry. If it's too dry, it's just doesn't have the texture that I really want. So I'm going to show you how to make a delicious, moist cornbread. And it's just one simple ingredient that you add to your mix, and it works so simple. Now I'm using Aunt Jemima, and I'm just using the basic recipe that's on the back of the bag. You can use whatever cornmeal mix you want to use. That's just fine. But let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with a cup of cornmeal, a cup of flour, 4 teaspoons of baking powder. Let's see, what did it say? 4 tablespoons of sugar. I'm not going to measure, you know me. Just going to go for it here. Put some sugar in there. Half a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to give all those a good whisk real quick and get those ingredients combined. 1 egg. Now I'm using a duck egg. I got a really good friend named Judy who supplies me with duck eggs, and duck eggs are wonderful for baking. And one of the things that makes them really nice is they're a really rich egg. The yolk is a lot bigger than on a chicken egg, so we're going to put that in there. Let me rinse my hands real quick. Alright, it also calls for 1 cup of milk. I pre-measured some milk. And a quarter cup of vegetable oil. And here's the secret ingredient, just canned applesauce. Now, I learned this trick from my mom. She used to bake cakes and do it a little bit professionally. And when you bake a cake, the outside of the cake along the edge of the pan would get kind of dry. And she learned that if you added some applesauce, it really doesn't change the flavor of the cake that much, but it keeps the batter moist all the way through the cake pan. So I like to add it and add it to my cornmeal. So I'm going to add about a half a can of applesauce. And I'm going to go ahead and give our ingredients a good stir. Now you can use a mixer or whatever you like. I'm just using a whisk. Make sure you combine all the dry ingredients with your moist ingredients or wet ingredients. Really good mix. And I've already preheated the oven to 425. And it takes, I think the package says about 15 to 18 minutes, but I live at a high elevation, so sometimes it takes a little longer. You can always check to see if the cornbread is done by taking a butter knife and sticking it into the cornmeal. And if it comes out moist, it's still wet. If it comes out dry, you're good to go. Alright, I've got all these ingredients combined really nicely. I went ahead and I greased a cast iron skillet, and I used a butter flavored Crisco. Feel free to use butter, whatever you choose to use. But I'm going to go ahead and add all that too. Add it right in there to the skillet. I'm going to go ahead and throw this in the oven. I'll give it 15 to 18 minutes and we'll be back. Well, we're back. It took about 19 minutes, and it normally does. Here it takes a little longer to bake because of the elevation. But there it is, a nice, beautiful cornbread. Let's go ahead and give it some slices here. Man, that's nice. Looks gorgeous, smells wonderful. I'm going to cut down the middle here. I want to get a little butter melting, but we'll go ahead and give it a taste test. You can see it's moist all the way out to the edge of the cornbread. Oh, that's fantastic. Not dry, moist. More like a cake texture than that dry cornbread taste. It's absolutely fantastic. Give it a try and we'll see you next time. Well, that concludes today's episode of Cooking with Steve. I hope you enjoyed spending the time with me because I sure enjoyed spending the time with you. If you would, help me out by subscribing, liking the video, and sharing it with your friends. And as always, please remember to live modestly, speak humbly, and enjoy life fully. We'll see you next time.